Oh, hello. In today's video, I'm going to give you my tournament report from Kill Team Critical Ops 3, which happened on Thursday last week. It was one of the Weekday Warhammer events at Warhammer World. So I'm going to start off by giving you an event overview. It was a one-day Kill Team event, 3 rounds, all of them on Season 1 terrain, so I guess because it's a weekday event, it's a little bit more low-key. They didn't put out the Into the Dark stuff, it was just the Season 1 stuff. Using the Turning Point Tactics map pack. Warhammer World, as usual, really good. I will say, you can tell that their terrain's got knocked about a bit, some of their Season 1 terrain, because some of the little bits weren't quite right, and pipes weren't quite the ones shown on the graphics. And they're obviously doing their best, but obviously that... I think some of those sets are coming up to needing to be retired anyway because of the new edition, and things were a little bit mismatched. Only 20 quid though, compared to some of their other events which are a lot more expensive, so you're only paying £20 to go to a weekday Warhammer event. Now I will say, because it was only £20, because the food there was no included food, so normally at Warhammer World events you get your food included, you get to have lunch in the staff canteen. I guess because it's a Thursday, you know, they must have a high proportion of staff that work Monday to Friday, right? So they probably needed their staff canteen to feed their staff, which makes sense. Now, we were given this little bit of paper that says event menu and lists out some stuff that you could buy for a cheaper price. If you compare it to the Bugman's menu, what it amounted to was £2 off the Kit Bash Your Burger. So Kit Bash Your Burger normally $11.95. You could order that for $9.95, but then you're paying the same £1.50 to add bacon and £1.50 to add mozzarella cheese. I didn't feel compelled to order that just because I was at the event, so I had a Bugman stack because it seemed really cool, and I'm a hungry guy and I'd not tried it yet, so yeah, it was good. I like generally anything in Bugman's that has their pulled pork on is delicious, so yeah, it was delicious. Right, let's get on with the games. So, round 1, I played against Jason Zammit. Now, Jason is the organiser of Not Kill Team. I've spoken to Jason a lot, but I've never played Kill Team against him. So this was the first, right? It's pretty good. He actually went on to win the event and to win Most Sporting Player, so I don't feel bad about losing to Jason. You know, he went on to win the whole event. He was playing Hankin Jaegers. Now, he is really good. He's a really good player, and this is absolutely not me saying, "Oh, it was all luck based," right? But he, for those of you that don't know, the Hankin Jaeger mine thing, they have 3 mines that are going to explode, and the mine does does 3 damage, and then you roll a dice, and if you roll under your opponent's armor, they take that many extra wounds. So against my Nemesis Claw, the optimal number he was looking to roll was 2. And I'm pretty sure I'm right in saying that for all 3 of his mines, he rolled a 2. So every single time I activated a mine, it did 5 damage, which, you know, considering what I'm doing really with my team is trying to get forward and get into combat, being on 5 less wounds when the combat starts really just throws everything around. And Nemesis Claw, especially the way I play them, which is my own fault, where I don't tend to... I did actually take a plasma gun in this game, right? I didn't take the melter gun, but I don't tend to take a heavy bolter. You know, they're relying a lot on those close... I don't have a backup plan for when a guy's half wounded. It's just, well, no, I'm going to toss you into the next combat. And so... yeah, that certainly helped him. But he is a very good player. It was a really good game, actually. The scores 14-20. The scores weren't that close in the end, but like by the end of turn 2, I really thought, and Jason probably thought as well, that he was going to get a real dominating victory, and I really did manage to pull it back quite a lot and make him really play for it towards the end of the game. So enjoyed myself. It was a really good game, really evenly matched game. Yeah, not much else to say, not much else sticks out in mind. I really enjoyed myself though, it was a great game. Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of Nachman, and I had to play on Nachman twice. I find it a pretty difficult table layout, and I'm always knocking over the really tall bits with my hands and stuff. But apart from that, yeah, it was good. It was good fun. Right, round 2 was against a guy called Thomas Shaw. And now Tom was also playing in Hurricane Jaegers. So I've spoken before in my tournament reports about how I feel that, like, I'm not the best player of Kill Team, but I feel like my biggest weakness sometimes is that I haven't played into quite a lot of the teams. So my last game against Jason was my first time playing against Hurricane Jaegers. So now it was my second time playing into Hurricane Jaegers. So I kind of knew what they all did, because they got some quite idiosyncratic abilities, right? So I knew what was going on, I knew what to expect. And I was able to do really well. I won 23 to his 11. Now Tom, really nice guy, but not as good at placing his mines as Jason. And I think there's a real trap with Hurricane Jaegers. They have this mechanic where you have 5 mines and 3 of them are live and 2 of them are duds, and the rules and the text kind of encourages you to play this shell game where, oh, you're going to put down your mines and your opponent's not going to know which mine is live and which mine is dead and this, that and the other. And, do you know, when I played Jason, he put down his mines and I instantly knew which 3 mines were going to be the ones that were going to explode, because they were the ones that I couldn't avoid walking on. And I wasn't wrong, okay, but I had to set them all off, because otherwise what was I going to do with my close combat Space Marine, stand in my deployment zone looking at the minefield going, oh well, you know, we're going to stand over here, you just stand on all the objectives, that's fine. Whereas against Tom, you know, he did this thing which I've heard people talk about online, where he didn't actually know for himself which of his mines were live and which were dead. Like, he shuffled them up and put them down as kind of a poker face thing of, well, if I don't know, there's no way you can read my poker face and know which is which mine. But the trouble is, like, and that all sounds really cool, but the reality of playing the game of Kill Team on the tabletop is you're far better, I think, just totally forgetting about the shell game poker aspect of the Jaeger mines and just going, no, it's going to be very obvious to my opponent which are the 3 live mines. That's how Jason played it. Like, it was very obvious to me which were the 3 live mines, but it was just like, what are you going to do? So there was that. But I think largely, me having had the practice, having just played into to Jaegers beforehand really helped. And also this map layout, because we're playing on secure, I could move dash and secure onto 5 of the objectives. In the end, he kept me off 1. I only got 4. It was 4-2. But the 4 that I'd secured, I just managed to keep secured the whole game. And he killed quite a lot of Night Lords. I think by the end of the game, I only had 2 models left. But he just didn't, because he was taking shots, he wasn't moving and capturing objectives. Which again can be one of those things that just leads to these kinds of quite heavy-handed victories in the end, even though, you know, the game didn't feel like I was crushing him, because like I said, he killed loads of my guys, loads of them. So yeah, so it was a fun game, good opponents. As I say, I felt really prepared because I just played the same team, and I did give him that little bit of feedback on the mines, because I think it's a trap that Games Workshop has laid for people, because if you read the rules without having played it, like, it definitely seems like it should be really fun to try and play shenanigans and poker with the mines, and it doesn't actually work out that way from what I've seen from these 2 games, right? And then round 3, I was playing against a guy called Adam Calver. I feel like I've seen Adam round before. I may even have played him before. I can't remember. Adam was playing Kazakin, and you'll see why I did the air quotes in a second. Okay, we're going to look at his team because it's beautiful. Adam, I'm going to actually get my laser pointer right here. So Adam had some really good play with his mine. So in our game, Adam was in the red zone, and I was in the blue. And he managed to get, I think with the free dash and a move, he managed to get his mine guy, like up here, standing in the smoke with the mine in front of him. And he'd effectively blocked off this entire way through. And I think, and this didn't help, because like I said, the Warhammer World terrain being a bit muddled, I think this bit here may even have been a slightly longer piece. And so the way it worked out was I couldn't... and that that guy then just stood there. I couldn't kill the demo guy without setting off the mine. I couldn't get through this gap and get round. I had to send some of my other guys like right round here, which wasted a turn, and I couldn't shoot him because he was stood in the smoke. So it was kind of and it was annoying because like you're thinking, why do you need to kill the demo guy? Well, I was worried all the time about in Midnight Clad, and obviously being within red of that guy would then have allowed other things like plasma guns, snipers, and other things to shoot me. So that was kind of problematic for me. That was really good play on his part, really cool. And I've played Kazkin not recently, but a long while ago. But I can admire the really good play. I also fell into a trap of doing things like I would stand a guy here next to the crane, going, well, I've got him in Midnight Clad, it's fine. And then he'd be like, well, I've got Auspex though, so I'll just turn that off. And maybe there are other places and other places I could have been. And I knew the Auspex was there, but I kept kind of not playing around it and just ignoring it and just taking my lumps out. One of the problems I fall into when I'm playing the Night Lords or any elite team is I kind of go, well, it doesn't matter if he's a bit out in if my opponent does somewhere get a shot, like the Marine's probably not going to die, but of course against Kazakin, where they got a plasma and a melter and a plasma, they got all these things. You let them get those shots, they're going to kill you. They've got all these kill weapons, so it is still very lethal even as the elite player. So yeah, I lost 13-21, but it was a really, really fun game. Adam was also a great opponent. Now, Adam's team, I took a photograph. These came second in the painting competition. And they're Rebel Grots. They're Rebel Grots. I really like that. So he's got Kazakin, but they were all Rebel Grots. They had their little display base, the little Rebel Grot compound. They got the berets and stuff. And I love the really stark, almost cartoony highlighting on the dagger here. I love that he's got the checks on the shoulder pads on some of them, and then he got dags over here. It's just really, really cool. And his team was really quite legible as well, like who got what. I really enjoyed the game. It was a real visual treat as well, so that was fantastic. We'll look at the final placings. So we got Jason, who I played in the first round, came first with his Jaegers. Christopher Scott Bloor, golden ticket holder for the second year in a row, came second with Compendium Demons. So he was one of only 3 people to win all 3 games, and he came second with Compendium Demons, which is kind of wild, right? They're not even... I mean, Compendium Demons are good, but they're not one of the Compendium teams that you see that often. They're not... You see Custodes quite a lot, but you don't see Compendium Demons that often. Then we got Inquisitorial Agent Simon. I don't know Simon, I didn't see his team, but that Inquisitorial Agent Simon Payne was the only other third person that won all of their games. Then we got some Pathfinders, Legionaries, Chaos Cults. Mr. Solly with his Euclidean Star Riders, he won again, Best Painted. I've learned that Mr. Solly is a high school art teacher, which makes me feel less bad that he's constantly swooping up the Best Painted awards, because I guess it's kind of in his professional wheelhouse, right? Then we've got Elliot, Adam, Dave, so that's Euclidean, Star Striders, Kazakin, Intercession, Rob with Hufkin Salvagers, Alan with Intercession, and then in the back half we've got Ray with his Phobos Strike Team, Jack with Inquisitorial Agents, Wayne with Wormblades, Jake with Commandos, Matt Goldington of Not Guilty and Fame with Nemesis Claw. We got Stuart with Talons of the Empire. There I am, 19th out of 24th. Not great, right? Not great. With Nemesis Claw. Nick with Euclidean Star Striders. We've got Zach with Nemesis Claw. Rome with Nemesis Claw. Cameron with the Decession, and then my opponent in round 2, Thomas, with his Hurricane Jaegers. So I managed to play both the person that came first and the person that came last, which is interesting as a path through the tournament. It was great that lots of the Not to Kill team guys were there, not least because I was travelling by myself this time, so I didn't have Zimbad with me, didn't have Mrs. DI with me, I didn't have Oro with me, I was basically on my own, so it was nice that I know all those guys and I was able to have a chat about various things. That was cool. Yeah. It was kind of disappointing. It was kind of disappointing to finish in the bottom 25%. But for a 3-round tournament, like, I don't want to sound like I'm making an excuse for myself. I'm still kind of riding the high of how well I did with the same team in the 6-round tournament. I feel like in a 3-round tournament, so much of it comes down to your random path through the tournament. So, yeah, I'm not that kind of broken up about coming in the 25%. All my games were fun. I enjoyed all 3 of them. So, yeah, I'm still glad that went. I think a lot of the problem was that I was quite tired because I decided to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and drive 150 miles to Warhammer World, play 3 games of Kill Team, and then drive 150 miles back. So I wanted to save the money and to spend more time with my family, so I didn't go away the day before and stay in a travel lodge. Did that have an impact on my performance? Probably. Did it have an impact on my fun? Not really. So it was probably the right call in the end. But it's definitely a thing. It's kind of interesting to me that there was 1, 2, 3, 4 Nemesis Claw players, 3 of us in the bottom 25%, all 4 of us in the bottom 50%, and yet, like, a lot of people think Nemesis Claw are broken. They're the best elite kill team, certainly, but a lot of people think they're absolutely disgusting. Blah 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 blah. And yet, you got Intercession. Alan and Dave here are Intercession finishing in the top half. Got Legionaries in 5th place. Like, things that shouldn't happen because technically Nemesis Claw are just better Legionaries, aren't they? But, I suppose it's a small tournament with only a few rounds, so you can't draw that much into it as far as the relative power levels of the team. But just looking at all those Nemesis Claws, I thought it was interesting. Final thoughts. So, were you one of the other people at the event? Have you, especially if you're one of my opponents, if there's some detail or nuance that you remember that I've forgotten, please do share it in the comments down below. That'd be really cool. Are you going to Turning Point Tactics at the weekend? If not, why not? You should be there. I'm there. It's going to be the last kind of big blowout tournament of this edition of Kill Team. Promises to be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to it. I'll be there by myself again, but I know that there'll be loads of people in the Kill Team community that know me from my videos or from other tournaments, so I'm not that worried about it. If you've watched the end of this video, I know this is like not a news-based video or release-based video, so if you're still here, you're definitely someone that should be subscribed to the channel. If you've enjoyed this kind of video and you're not subscribed to the channel, please do me a favour and subscribe. It's not for you, it's for me. The more subscribers we get, the more that number goes up, the more visible the channel becomes, and the more likelihood there is that people like Games Workshop will send things for early review, which would be really cool. Also, consider joining the Discord. The Discord's free and it's open to everybody. You don't need to be a channel member to join the Discord. Although, if you do want to become a YouTube channel member, someone that pays money every month, click Join Channel and you get an extra little video to tell you all about that, the various perks that you get. A big thank you to all those people who do regularly financially contribute to the running of the channel. It just means that things like attending events and buying Bugman stacks are more easily within my reach. Alright. Thanks guys, hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you again next time. Bye bye bye, bye bye bye, goodbye.